Hello children, I've just recorded a maths video, so I've just jumped over straight away to do the literacy one. So today we've got two different waltz actually, because it was too short if I only done one. You're not going to have two to-dos. I want you to do some work with me whilst we're going through the slides actually. You can just pause me whenever you feel like it. I'm going to give you some examples of activities. Some of the work I won't be asking you to hand in, but obviously I will know whether you've done it when it comes to you doing your last piece of work. Because if you're not using relative clauses, then I'll know that you haven't looked at this work that I will be talking about with you today. And if you're spelling words wrong, then I'll know that you haven't practiced them, although there is a to-do to complete with that as well. So two waltz. Here we go. So the first waltz, obviously we're going to look at that first, is we are learning to write sentences that contain relative clauses. Now, that might sound really scary, but actually a relative clause, we've spent a lot of time calling it an expanded noun phrase. It just offers more information about the noun. And we're going to use that today using a word so simple, it's that. So let me show you. So we're going to play the substitution game, not football. Bear with me, it might sound very confusing at the moment, but you'll pick it up. So in this sentence from The King of the Fishes, the writer has picked three parts of the fish to describe in detail. It had silver scales that glittered in the sunlight, blood red fins, and a golden crown. So the writer has described the scales, the fins, and the crown. And you can see that I've highlighted these nouns in green. And I've highlighted the adjectives that describe the nouns in blue: silver, blood red, and golden. I bet you're wondering about the that. Don't worry, it's coming up. So, the writer added a bit more detail about the scales by using the word that. Okay, it's called a relative clause. It gave us a little bit more information about the scales. It had silver scales that glittered in the sunlight. The writer could easily have written it had silver scales, blood red fins, and a golden crown. But by using this relative clause, by using the word that, the writer gave us a bit more information about the scales. They could have done it about the blood red fins. The blood red fins that glowed in the sunlight. The golden crown that shimmered in the sunlight, shone in the sunlight. Okay? So all the relative clause is doing is giving us a little bit more information about one of the nouns. So, to demonstrate this, children, I have done my own example. So, mine is the same, but I've just done a lion instead. So, here we go. I've described three things about the lion. It had giant paws that thundered across the earth, sandy fur, and a fearsome roar. I have described the nouns, the paws, the fur, and the roar. Those are the three things. And the adjectives I used were giant paws, sandy fur, and fearsome for the roar. However, I did use a relative clause here for the paws, and I added the relative clause using that. So I put it had giant paws that thundered across the earth. I've used the word that to create a new relative clause for the lion. Okay. What I want you to do now is pause me, so I shut up, and get a pencil and a piece of paper like I did tell you at the start, and I want you to have a go at doing your own. Now, it might be easier to pause the video here, so you can look at what I have written and just change the words. So I'm going to look at the eagle, for example. Now, I know it's got a very sharp beak because it likes to tear flesh apart. In fact, that could be my relative clause. A sharp beak that tears flesh. It's got sharp talons, they're not called claws, and it's got a huge wingspan. Okay, that's the distance from wingtip to wingtip. So it had a sharp beak that tore at flesh, comma, because it's a list, razor sharp talons, and an enormous wingspan. Okay, I'll do another example. You don't have to use these ones, children. You can write them about any animal you wish, whether it be mythical, unicorns, or dragons, or whatever you want. It could even be insects. I'm going to have a look at the killer whale next. So it's got black dorsal fin. It's got a black and white pattern. It's got enormous tail. It does have a blowhole on top, although you can't see that. It's leaping up out the water, so it's very powerful. And it has got razor sharp teeth, although there you can't really see them. Let's have a go. There's not as much to talk about. I don't know why I put that picture there. So it had an enormous dorsal fin that protruded from the water. That means it stuck out from the water. There's my relative claws. I've given a bit more information about the dorsal fin now. It had an enormous dorsal fin that protruded from the waves. There we go. Black and white skin, and razor sharp teeth. There we go. So it's just about substituting the words for the animal that you are explaining. I'm going to stop there because I've done too much talking. So you could pause it now and have a go. Remember, you're not handing this work in, but if you don't practice it and I don't see the relative clauses in your final written piece, it will become apparent that you haven't done this part. So I'd pause it and just have a go. Choose your favourite animals. Okay, children, hopefully you paused it. Now, as I said earlier on, we've got 2 walks today. So we've looked at the relative clauses, so we can kind of tick that one off. And hopefully you've practiced some sentences that contain relative clauses, just 3 or 4. Next thing we're going to do is spell some words that are often misspelled. Now, I'm going to give you some examples of activities that you can do for this, because I couldn't set them as to-dos, obviously, on Purple Mash. I have set one to-do on the Purple Mash to make sure that you understand what each word means. But there are some activities that I'm sure, actually, if you try them, you'll enjoy them. So these are the words that we're going to be concentrating on, the spellings. They are words that are often misspelled. In fact, thought, it's usually this part here. I know Ava anyway, but she's in year 1. But there are some children that write the OR for that, or AW. Caught, again, similar. Children get caught out on this word. Oh, that wasn't funny, was it? I tried. Precious, I think it's just remembering the shus and how to spell it. It could be confused with TIOUS, which is another way of spelling the shus wrap in there. Decide, I think that's probably one of the more simple ones. Whip, maybe forget the H, might be inclined to forget the H. And reflection, again, the shun at the end, could be CION, which it is in other words. So, now like I said, I've given you some ideas. Now, if you've got paper and pens, or colouring pencils, then this might be a nice one to do. So you can write the word as many different times as you want, multicoloured. Now, please be aware, children, I am writing this with the mouse, so I'm not going to be joining it up. It will look horrific. Oh, I've gone for it. I'm obviously writing whip because it's the shortest one. And writing with the mouse keypad is very difficult. Okay, whip. The put is terrible, isn't it? Sorry, it's awful. I tried. And then you can just keep practicing writing whip multicolored, and then obviously do precious, thought, caught, decide, and keep going with all of the spellings. There's one idea for you to practice. I like this one too. So you write the word across and then down. So please don't laugh, because I know this is going to go horribly wrong. I've done a capital already. I didn't want to do it as a capital. Too long salvage it. I'm not joining them. Whip. Oh, I'm quite impressed with the I and the P. And then down. And you don't need this sheet. You can just do it in a book. In fact, it'll probably be easier to do it on a book with lines. Whip and whip. You can't join it up going that way. It'd be impossible. So there's another idea for you to practice your spellings. I did talk about these in September with you. I'm not sure I've reminded you since. Here's another way of doing it. So we've got the example here. You've got to press the keys to make the word. So, there, mate. Move the mouse too far down there. It is difficult, please. Can you imagine you all laughing now? So I've got whip. Now, once you use the keypad, spell whip. So the number to dial would be, well, W is on the 9. Oh, wow. I'm not giving up. I'm persevering. There we go. Lovely. Third time's a charm. The H would be a 4. So 9, 4, that's WH. The I would be another 4. 9, 4, 4, WHI. And the P would be a 7. And you're probably thinking, how is that helping me spell? Well, each time you're looking for the letter, you're actually you are doing 9, 4, 4, 7, but you're thinking 9 is W, and 4 is H, and the other 4 is I, and 7 is the P. So you are doing WHIP as well as doing the numbers. That's quite a nice one to do. Obviously, you do it for precious and court and door, etc., etc. If you don't like the look of that one, Scrabble. I don't know whether you've played it, but it's a game where you make words. So I'm going to show you with whip. There are 10 on here because obviously we usually have 10 spellings, but with the book that we're linked to, I've just chosen the 6. The king of the fishes, all the words are from. So whip would be, so W is worth 4. There's a bit of maths in here as well. The H is worth 4. Double 4 is 8. The I is worth 1. That's 9. And the P is worth 3. 9 and 3 is 12. You can just see which word from the spellings gets the highest score. I haven't actually tried it. It might surprise you. It may not be the longest word because you can see that each of the letters is a different value. So let me know on the blog which one did have the highest score if you choose to do that one. And finally, I think it's finally, yes, it's finally, I've got the pyramid spelling. I've shown you this one before. So W for whip, WH, W, ooh, it was going so well. H, oh, it's just gone out the window. Look at that H, I mean, it looks like it's grown, I don't know. WH, I, it's having a stretch, that's what it's doing. It's doing some Joe Wicks. P. Okay, WH, WWH, WHI, WHIP with, and it looks like a half a pyramid shape when it comes out. But at least it should do when you're not doing it on a computer. Okay, you can do that for the other words as well. You don't need this sheet to do it, you can just do it on the piece of paper that you've got at home. Now, so there are lots of different ideas, children, and you can pause it on each slide for which one you want to have a go at, just to practice your spellings. Now, the to-do task that I've set today is there are sentences on a quiz, and what I want you to do is choose the correct word to finish or complete the sentence, sorry. So the cricket captain something the ball. This is just an example of what it will be like. This isn't one of the questions. The cricket captain thought the ball. No. The cricket captain caught the ball. Yes. Caught is the correct word. There's no way I am writing caught after my disaster earlier on. Oh, wow. Yeah, that'll do. Okay. So the cricket captain caught the ball. So yeah, good luck, children. I haven't set a challenge today because I think I've given you lots of little activities to do. If you want to complete one of the activities, I'd love to see some relative clauses sent into Bluecoat, the Bluecoat email address, which is year4@bluecoatfederation.co.uk. I'd love to see some examples sent in to the email. So thank you very much. Have a good day and take care.